Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living, where we know this is the perfect time, the perfect place, the perfect way, and the perfect pace. Sing this with me if you'd like. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect place. This is the perfect way. This is the perfect pace. Let's do that again. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect place. This is the perfect way. This is the perfect pace. I'll read a story now. Let's begin at the very start. We are one and the same. We're living in God's heart, knowing truth, knowing love, knowing all is well. With the power of our minds, we can already tell. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect place. This is the perfect way. This is the perfect pace. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect place. This is the perfect way. This is the perfect pace. We all know what we've got to do. We are grateful for the path that our spirits choose. We are love, we are light, we are here, we are now. Don't have to find our way, 'cause we already know how. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect place. This is the perfect way. This is the perfect pace. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect place. This is the perfect way. This is the perfect pace. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect place. This is the perfect way. This is the perfect place.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Peter Rolita, and I'm one of the practitioners here. And I am happy to welcome all of you. We get to share this service together. Reminder to make sure your cell phones are turned off or on silent. Yeah. And also, let's see. Are there any demonstrations, an answered prayer that anybody's had this week? Anybody want to share? Yes.
You've been praying for David, who is a cousin's husband, who was in ICU and then in the hospital and then rehab, and now he's home. So thank you for the prayers.
Oh, great. We have a very active prayer group that prays for all of you. If you put a message in the prayer box out here, we will pray, and we are. It is a powerful, powerful thing. Let's see, that's good. All right, now we're going to do the mission vision.
Namaste.
The namaste. All right. So let's do the namaste greeting. Greet three people. Yeah. Namaste.
One, you're number one. Namaste. You're number two. Namaste. You're another hurdle.
Namaste.
Margie, I'm Richard.
Light and peace.
I grew up in action. I've seen you in action before. I guess Sharon's not here today. Sharon's not here. That's a shame.
I think she's celebrating. I like that.
So we have here Margie with us today, who is another practitioner. Well, now we're going to do, thank you, vision, mission. We are a welcoming sanctuary community where all are accepted, valued, and supported in the global family. Mission, we inspire personal and global transformation through the teachings of science and mind. And our purpose, in joy and love, we connect in service to all life. All right, now Margie, let me hand you this microphone here.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Well, good morning. It's been a while, and I'm so glad to see you're all here, and we have our special speaker today, Reverend Sara Nichols. So with that, I'll go into invocation, and knowing that this center is blessed, and that we are all one with the divine presence of all there is, and that we know that our thoughts are liberated to stay in love and not fear. For we know and we send love out into the world from our heart, around the globe, of love, 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 every night. And we know that all is well and it's all in divine order. So, and together we say gratitude. And so it is.
Yay, perfect. So nice to have Margie here with us. Okay, so now we've got some readings. Yeah. Okay, so fear of dying is human. Fear of aging is cultural. And that's from Ashton Applewhite. And then the next one is also from Ashton Applewhite. It's not loving a man that makes life harder for gay guys. It's homophobia. It's not the color of their skin that makes life harder for people of color. It's racism. It's not having vaginas that makes life harder for women. It's sexism. I had to look at that word. Okay. And it's ageism far more than the passage of time that makes growing older harder for all of us. All right. And then we have from Ernest Holmes, the more power one gives to his thought, the more completely he believes that his thought has power. The more power will it have. All right, and we have Bev here and Greg to do a song for us.
wisdom of 1,000,000 fruitful years. Love unfolds in gentle leaves, reveals the truth that lies beneath, protecting all the souls that we hold dear. If only we could see our way clear to the sun. Seems that listening's lost its style. We haven't stopped in quite a while to smell the sweetness of a rose. We can't see and we won't hear long enough to face our fears. We can't learn what trees would have us know. Now the boy is grown and wise, has learned to live with compromise, looking back on years and taking stock. Thinks of what his life's been missing and knows if he just tries to listen, late at night the trees will start to talk. The wind will blow and trees will softly talk. Will we listen? Listen, whoa, listen.
Yeah, beautiful. So we are very blessed today to have Reverend Sara Nichols here with us. And I think there's a little blurb for her. Yes, there is. So Reverend Sara Nichols is a public interest lawyer turned staff minister at the Center for Spiritual Awareness in West Sac. She's also an author, teacher, and the host of the Conscious Reality Show. She's going to be doing a workshop here, and she's going to probably tell us about that during her talk. I'd like to welcome Reverend Sara.
Great to be back, everybody. I missed you. It's always wonderful to be here with you. Here we are. Well, I'm excited. I'm really excited to talk about this topic today. Although I wouldn't have been excited before I had this wonderful guest, Ashton Applewhite, the author of This Chair Rocks, a manifesto against ageism, on the Conscious Reality Show, my modest webcast. I could not believe she was willing to be on. She has a TED Talk with over 2 million views, and this book that has been very widely purchased and sold, and yet she did. And she really blew my mind. I really did not think that I was ageist, and I also didn't think it was that important of an issue. It's interesting, but now I do. So what really strikes me is that in Science of Mind and New Thought, we have a spiritual approach to so many areas of life, right? And we routinely teach a spiritual approach to prosperity, a spiritual approach to health, a spiritual approach to relationships. But here, there is this major issue of aging, and how often do we consciously teach and use spiritual principle with aging. I personally, you may not have, but many of you, I'm guessing, have. I've studied anti-racism, I've studied feminism, I've celebrated gay pride, and yet I and most of our culture is ageist against ourselves, ageist against our current and future selves, right? Many marginalized groups internalize hatred, but all of us unconsciously in our culture, in the American mainstream culture, unconsciously validate, judge, oppress, and condemn our future selves. Think about that, right? We may not think we're doing it to ourselves. We're doing it to someone else that we see as old or whatever, but we'll get into that. So what else is possible here, and how does it get better than this? Well, we know that from studying Science of Mind and Ernest Holmes, we know that it is done unto us as we believe, right? And Ernest Holmes is very big on examining thoughts. Really, in the Science of Mind teaching symbol up there on that wall, can't maybe be seen online, and then it can be seen in this tiny little Science of Mind teaching symbol around my neck. We talk about that seed, soil, and planting our thoughts into the soil of consciousness, and then it produces what we want to manifest in the world, but it produces it relative to that seed and that soil. But the soil part, like any soil, it's going to be the weeds that choke off or divert the consciousness of the seed into what gets produced. So it behooves us, doesn't it, since we're all going to age, to examine our thoughts around aging. And that in and of itself is a spiritual practice. So I just really want to lift that out. Examining thoughts, seeing what we think is true, and doing research and seeing what is really true is in and of itself a spiritual practice. Good to remember in a time when maybe a lot of us are choosing to block out news. Sometimes the news is important as a spiritual practice, not just to force us to meditate in order to be able to cope with what's happening, but because we may, if we go to trusted resources or read in-depth magazine articles and research, or at least read about them, someone else having read them and telling you, be able to actually examine our own thoughts and pull the weed of our consciousness. So we're not operating blind on what we think we know. Do you see? So we're going to be doing, that's mainly what we're going to do as our spiritual practice on that during this talk, is examine some thoughts. So first, and you don't have to raise your hand, but if you feel bold enough, join me in admitting by raising your hand if you thought this statement was true. Most people end up in long-term care or nursing homes. I thought it was true. Turns out it's not even close to true. About 2 to 4% of the population ends up in a nursing home or long-term care. Okay? Very different from the cultural norm of what's portrayed on television or in our minds or in our fears, right? Okay, raise your hand if you thought most people in nursing homes are very old. If that was a thought you had. False, completely false. All different ages in nursing homes. Doesn't even skew old. Many people are there because they're recovering from a surgery and then they're going to come back into life, right? And it's all different things that take people to a nursing home. I'm not suggesting any of us want to be in a nursing home if we can avoid it, but I know way too much about some aspects of nursing homes from having had a whole lifetime in public policy on healthcare, but it's not an elderly land. Raise your hand if you had an idea that a huge percentage of us will have dementia. Now on this one, it may depend on your definition of huge, but it's actually a very small percentage of the aging population, and dementia happens to fairly young people as well and goes all the way through. Raise your hand if you thought that the declining number of youth relative to old in our society is a huge public policy problem for young people. That there are way too many old people and there are not enough young people and people are not being bold, and that's a public policy problem. Well, it turns out, no, not so much. There really isn't even any evidence that, or a strong argument that it's a public policy problem. So, is Social Security underfunded? Yes. That's a public policy problem, but that underfunding is not caused by the declining birth rate. That's just a thing, right? Other stuff we think of in the society, and I know this was in my mind, there is a general sense of young people take care of old people, right? Financially, all sorts of ways. That's not actually what's happening. And think about your own life. You may well know that this is not what's happening in your life either. Older people are taking care of younger people. There is much more transfer of wealth happening from older people to younger in the sense of systematically caring for, making sure that they're okay. Thank God there are so many more older people than young people, because so many of the youth in this society are not launching, right? And don't actually have. No, we could put aside for a second whether there's a codependence operating there, and that's part of why they're not launching, right? But the fact is that older people are working and contributing and making money and having wisdom, and it is a net value. And do you want to know the main reason why there are a lot more older people and fewer young people? The main reason that at least Ashton Applewhite researched and put into her book, and that I'm aware of, is that we, unless some people have more to say about it soon, we have essentially eliminated causes of childhood death. I mean, several years ago, decades ago, in this country, largely due to vaccines, by the way, eliminated causes of childhood death, and so therefore, children make it to adulthood, and once you are in adulthood, you're probably going to make it into old age, if you're lucky, and most of us are. All right, and then this is a big one. Raise your hand if you believed or believe that aging contains an inevitable number of health problems, and keep it if you believe that older people are much less healthy than younger people. Not true. Not what the research shows, right? Really interesting, isn't it? Really interesting. There are health problems all the way from birth to death, and those health problems show up. There are different kinds of health problems that children tend to have, and young adults tend to have, and middle-aged adults tend to have, and older adults tend to have. But you don't actually see it skewing to older adults. It does not skew, and it does not accelerate. It's different issues that come up. Many older adults are amongst the most stable health-wise in our culture because we've learned how to eat, we've managed our meditations, and we're paying attention to ourselves, and we're doing what we need to do, and we're doing that for decades, right? It's interesting. And yet the thoughts that drive, right, if it's done unto me as I believe, pay attention to these thoughts. See, this is why it is a spiritual practice. If I don't examine these thoughts, they are now running the show. If I believe that I'm going to inevitably have more health problems, guess what? I am. Very important to notice. This is big stuff. It really is. It's everything. Have you ever noticed? I have. There are so many. So what gerontologists say is that, and she interviewed so many gerontologists, you could imagine, the study of, the doctors that are specialized in aging, if you don't know that word. What gerontologists say that what separates a healthier, adult from another healthier adult, I don't even think they qualify it with aging, is that a healthy adult who has an episode, something happens in their body that throws them off, says, oh, I have a knee thing going on. I have a stomach thing going on. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to see what I can do. And if it perseveres, I'm going to see what I can do to get back on track. And they will. And that's true whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, or 100. The adults, and there are many, who go, oh, I have a knee thing, I have a stomach thing, I have a back thing, I must be old. It's not going to get well now. This is just the thing I have to deal with. Guess what? Yes. It is just the thing I have to deal with. That is the way it works. The ones who say no, who treat it just the way they would if they were 20 or 30 and that happened, who are 80 and 90, get right back, they get back to it. My father-in-law was like that. He played tennis until 2 months before he died at 90. He practiced law, and we'll get into work in a second, until about 2 months before he died at 90. And while he was playing tennis, if something happened and his ankle didn't work, he got it working again so he could play tennis. And it's not even a thing for him. But many of us know, don't you? Maybe some of your children or friends, people who are 40, who talk about it like, oh, I'm just old now, so that thing is going to keep happening, right? And it's over because they're 40. Okay. How many of you thought aging means stopping working? And it's really and how many of you have felt either pressured to retire or have pressured others to retire? Just me? I'm the only person who's ever pressured anyone to do it. By pressure, I mean asking, when are you going to retire? How long are you going to be in that job? How about that? Yeah. How long? Why do you keep doing that? The thing is, there is really no strong evidence that retiring helps people unless they themselves really want to retire, and really want to be out of that job. We want to keep our minds lively, and we do have lively minds. That's one of the things that this book really shows, is that the idea that you don't want older people in the workforce because they're not somehow going to be sharp enough is just not true. The research does not bear it out. And in fact, the idea that these sort of people who come in with no thoughts, supposedly no thoughts, beliefs, opinions, and conclusions that are getting away, and they're going to have all this energy, and they're going to be by far the best workers, that isn't necessarily borne out. In fact, experience helps, being there for a long time helps, and being able to draw on that experience makes one a much more efficient worker. So, how How many people thought aging means stop doing fun things? I have thought that. Or stop going to protest. I really put that in there because I wanted to tell you that I heard a story the other day on the radio about how older women are a network of a vast conspiracy by older women to save the country has been going on since let's just say since 2016. There are women all over this country who have organized and created networks that are the reason, like the major bedrock of reasons why the most recent widespread protest had millions of people was based on it wasn't based on social media. It wasn't based on energetic millennials or zillennials. It was based on a network of older women that was systematically built since 2016 to get people out on the streets when needed to protect people. And that really just gives me chills because it shows a number of things. It shows that we underestimate the potency and power and importance of our aging selves. And arguably one of the most overlooked and unsung aspects of our entire country is older women. And yet older women are linking arms across ideological belief systems, right? Libertarians with socialists, for example, linking arms to save our democracy. So I'd just like you to take that in. So when I started reading this book, I was pretty sure that I was one of the least ageist people on the planet. And also that because I knew about the health stuff. I didn't know, the stats on nursing homes, et cetera, but I knew that it really mattered what I put my attention to. I knew that, I went through, in my late 40s, early 50s, I went through a 2-year period where I could, many of you know, I've talked about it with you before, where I could only walk, I couldn't walk more than a block without pain because of my knee, and nothing I was doing was working. And I just kept trying stuff, and both healthcare and spiritual stuff, and combination thereof. And then I ended up healing my knee completely and being able to get back to backpacking. And I still backpack at 64. But what I found out from Ashton Applewhite's book is that I've fallen into the I'm not Ray school of ageism, which is where we compare ourselves to someone else and say, oh, well, they're slowing down, or they're this, or they're that, and I'm this, and I'm that, right? And then we make ourselves feel good by looking at someone else and what we imagine that they're doing or not doing, and then telling ourselves we're youthful, right? We're not saying, I'm not saying that I'm an older woman who's vibrant and strong. I'm saying I'm an older woman who's not old, because I don't want to be old, because old is bad. And that's right, because that's the mentality of our culture, right? There's advertising everywhere to try to make you buy something so that you don't look old or don't have the wrinkles or the looks or the hair or the anything that naturally occurs in the body. And it's not that spiritual tools couldn't arrest that, but it's that why is our attention on that? right? Because we've been told that it's undesirable. We've been told that somehow it's going to make it so that we can't ever have sex again if we didn't do this, or we're not going to be able to have anybody love us, or no one's going to ever hire us again, right? That kind of thing. If we don't buy this product. Just take that in. So that I'm not Ray trying to be young and is an interesting thing. I remember my mother, well into her 80s, every time we would walk into a room of a place that she was considering living, if she saw a bunch of old gray hairs, she would just go, oh no, I don't know what, it's a bunch of old people. And I always thought that was hilarious. It's like, well, you're in your 80s. Now, granted, my mother, like me, I don't dye my hair. She didn't dye my hair. Had like this color hair until the day she died, so she really wasn't gray. So she didn't see that this gray-haired people had anything to do with her, But so that was true. But it's also the case that we'll see. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, except that it amuses me, so I'm going to tell you. Mark Maron, the comedian, in I think one of his most recent comedy special, which was hilarious. It was sort of in COVID or at the tail end of COVID, and he talks about how, and he's about my age. He talks about how he looks in the mirror and he goes, "Oh yeah, I look good. I look good. Yeah, looking good." And then he knows from his kids or seeing videos or other things that a lot of other people look at him and just like see haggard and what he calls like a death mask, that they look at him and that's what they see. And the same thing happens with people that we've known our whole lives, right? Like our spouses or our best friends from college, right? Or whatever. And if we see them a lot, not like we see them at a reunion every 20 years, because that's terrifying, but we see them a lot, we sort of see the self they were in their 20s and 30s, right? And we see them that way. We see an older version of it, but that's who we see, right? We don't really see. I remember one time I hadn't seen a best friend from high school. It wasn't a high school reunion. It was like I was going to speak in Austin, Texas, where he lived, and so he met my plane, and it had been 15 years or something since we saw each other, right? And we weren't even that old. I think we were both around 38 or something, and we looked at each other and we were like, hi, you exist, we just were disgusted with how each other looked. We were just absolutely disgusted because we were comparing it and we hadn't seen each other at all, or even, it was sort of pre-social media, so we weren't constantly looking at pictures of how people changed. And we were just grossed out. We were just at 38, we were grossed out by how each other looked. Well, the reason I say this is because I started to wonder two things. One, I'm coming to grips with the fact that people who haven't known me a long time and just see me probably do sort of see a death mask when they look at me. I don't know. And it's okay, right? It's okay. That isn't like, I'm not responsible for their thoughts, beliefs, opinions, and conclusions. I'm only responsible for mine, right? But also, conclusions and thoughts drive our reality. So how about if not just in the mirror, I'm like, oh, you look good, but how about if I'm like that with people I don't even know? If I'm using my same eyes to see how they look good, no matter what. Oh, you look good. Like seeing wow, you look good. No matter what. Like, they don't have to be my best friend or someone I've known forever. I don't have to have an imprint from youth for them to look good. They look good. So I'm just going to tell you all right now, you look good. I want you to say that. I look good. And turn to someone else and say, you look good. Yeah.
You look good.
And start using that, like you look good and you feel good. So that it's not about comparison. It's not about me. Oh yeah, I think I look good. I think I feel good. Too bad about this other person who doesn't look good or feel good. Too bad they're old. I'm not old. No, we're getting out of that I'm not old, they're not old, or the idea of old being a bad thing. Ashton doesn't use the word old in her book. She uses olders and youngers, because it's relative. Everyone is older than someone else and younger than someone else. Everyone, right? A baby is still older than someone else and younger than someone else. So there are no old people or young people. There are older and younger humans on a continuum. All right. So get educated. Examine your thoughts before you believe them. One way to do that is, the old Byron Katie, if you remember it, is just to go, is that true? Can I absolutely believe that's true? Stop making comparisons. Make a bridge with other people. Don't make assumptions. And fall in love with the present moment, as all else. I would love for you to come to the workshop that I'm doing right after whatever our fellowship break is. The workshop is on the topic of my book, How to Know What You Know. I'm under contract with DeVore's Publications to write a book. There's the Older Women Front, and that's an article that I saw. Under Older Women Front and Center in No Kings Pro-Democracy Movement. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? And I don't know what the next slide is, but I guess I can see because I can move it. Yeah, all right, we'll go back. We'll just keep her up on the screen. I like her. And she's the exact age as me, by the way. And doesn't she look good? Yeah. Don't I look good? Okay, so how to know what you know. We will focus on whatever's up for you. It's about decision making and how you dial into your own internal wisdom. And even if you have a way, like Peter has ways to dial into his own internal wisdom that he was telling me about. But even if you already have a way, are you taking time to sit with it? Like, I have all these ways. I'm writing a whole freaking book about it. But I often do not sit. Just the other day, someone was like, well, why don't you just sit with it and use one of your tools? And I'm like, So this is an opportunity. Almost all of us have some decision we're making. This is going to be a short little workshop, but what we'll do is, what is that thing that we're not sitting with and seeing what is really ours? And if you don't know how to dial into your own internal wisdom, I'm going to give you at least one or two tools depending on who's there and what's up. And we're going to go within and we're going to find that answer for ourselves. Okay? And it's really fun. And you get to hang out with me and I get to hang out with you and we all look good. So let's take this message into prayer. And just knowing there is only one power, one promise, one purpose, one infinite presence. And I call that God, and I call that good, and I know that unlimited energy is living out its perfect life as everything in the known and the unknown world. Beyond time, beyond space, beyond expectation, beyond limitation, beyond lack, beyond precedent, beyond the beyond. And I know that this unlimited power, the one, is living out its life as everything in the known and the unknown world, everything I can imagine and everything I cannot imagine. And so it is for sure showing up as me and as everyone in this room and everyone within the sound of my voice and everyone listening or watching this. Each one of us is a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in a human body on the human plane with all the power and the promise and the purpose of the one mind at our disposal and all the clarity, focus, ease, and grace. And so I speak my word for this center and for every single person here and for this country and for the world. Knowing that we have a God that is so much bigger than any fear or thought, belief, opinion, and conclusion that we might have. That we are moving collectively from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to conscious competence and ultimately to unconscious competence together. And that we do that by letting go of what we think we know and who we think is wrong and who we think is right, and dialing into that deep inner knowing, that feeling of light and space and connection that occurs when we stumble onto the truth. Asking what else is possible and how does it get even better than this? What energy, space, and consciousness can we and our bodies and souls and countries and planet be? And anything that doesn't allow it, can we destroy it and create that all right now? Yes. Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys, puppets, and yeah. You can ask me about that. Hocus pocus later if you want. I know that it is good and very good and done and very done, and I am grateful for the power of my word spoken with passion and authority. And so I release my word into that part of spirit that we call the law, knowing that it's acted upon it perfectly. And so it is.
And so it is. Here they are. That'd be great. Thank you so much for being here and doing us another song.
When you do what you love and you trust what you know, you'll grab the ground. trust what you know. You'll grab the brass ring when you finally let go. When you know what you love and you trust what you do, just set your sights high, it's all waiting for you. When you do what you love and you trust what you know, when you do what you love and you trust what you know, when you do what you love and you trust what you know, you'll grab the brass ring when you finally let go.
Here's our time when we get to give back to our center. And there's a lot of ways you can do it. There's a QR code up there that you can use. There's a basket going around. You can go to our website and donate that way. But please give back. And here's our abundance affirmation. In consciousness of abundance, I give freely, knowing that I am freely given to.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So as Reverend Sara was saying, we have a workshop. She's going to lead us this afternoon. So we'll do a little social time, and then we'll start that workshop right after the service. Also, I wanted to remind you that today is the day that all bidding needs to be in for Gourmets for God. So by 1 o'clock this afternoon, if you haven't bid, you'll miss out. There's some pretty fun stuff happening. If you don't know, Gourmets for God is where we have hosts who are hosting events. You bid on going to those events, and the proceeds go to the Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living. It's a wonderful fundraiser and a wonderful way to get to know people in our community, so it's awesome. So please come and see me after service, and we'll get your bids in. This coming Saturday, Peter has his class, his first Saturday class, and let me tell you, Cookie and I are taking this class, and this book is amazing. It's an easy read, it's just wonderful stories, and he's going to be helping us through deciding how we do pastoral care for those who are oldies.
Those who need care.
Those who need care, and it really doesn't make any difference. We're older than somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's really, really an awesome class because we have wonderful conversations, and I'm really enjoying it. Thank you. You want to say anything else about it? I did it? All right. Then you know what? I'm handing it back to you now.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. Our abundance affirmation. Connecting with Spirit is giving me life. Yay.
There's a river of love and it flows right through every word I say, everything I do. There's a river of love and it flows right through every word I say, everything I do. Let it flow, I know there's a river, let it flow.
for doing that. We are a teaching center, and we have a program for the children. And we have, every week, there's somebody here that is ready to give a lesson and work with our youth. What's the name of the youth people?
Youngers.
Youngers, yes, our youngers. So today, my roommate Emma Blake came here, and she was the teacher. So I'm going to let her have the mic and let us know what happened.
Well, it was on par with what, it was on par with what the message was about. That if it's not loving, if you're hearing the voice in your head, you know that voice. If it's not loving, it's not true.
Yes,
The
yes,
basics.
yes. You want to show what you did?
Oh, that's sweet.
What is it saying? It says, live out and loud. Equals listening to your own quiet, loving voice.
So also, we are a praying community, and we have a prayer team. And there is a place you can, right out here, that you can put your prayer requests in there. And Reverend Sharon, our spiritual director, will receive it, and we will pray on those. And it works. And we were very, very busy this week. We had a robust prayer activity going on. And so it's really a wonderful opportunity. So please use that. And also, if you want individualized prayer after service, are you available, Margie?
Yeah.
Margie and I are both available to do prayer during our social time if you'd like some time. So please take advantage of that. And let's see.
Circle up.
So then circle up. Yeah. And Margie is going to do our benediction.
Oh, that's mine. It's right. Actually, it's not you, right?
I don't think I need the mic, do I?
You do whatever you want.
Yeah, let's do the mic, just so people online can hear you.
We don't come from
We don't hold hands.
Oh, we
oh,
don't,
that
sorry.
thing. Yeah,
We used to.
Namaste.
Okay,
germs. Yeah.
so here we are together on sacred ground and in this sacred place and this very sacred moment. We are together, and we know and we feel at least 20 years younger. And we're going out and we're going to do our thing, and we know that we are healthy, whole, and complete. And we had a great message from Reverend Sara Nichols. And together, in much gratitude for our health and our loved ones and all of us around the world. And so it is.